When you think about terrorism, when you get up in the morning and think about terrorism, first of all, I hope to hell you don't get up in the morning and think about terrorism. I really hope you think about something a little more, I don't know, jovial. But if you do think about terrorism, I'm going to guess that if someone asked you, where do you think terrorism takes place? Where does it most often take place? Normally, we would think South Asia, the Middle East. We've heard about Hezbollah, Hamas, the PLO, Al-Qaeda, Islamic State. A lot of people are now focusing on the continent of Africa. This is the new sort of jihad central. This is becoming the new terrorism central. I think there is maybe only 1 or 2 or 3 countries where terrorism is completely non-existent. If you start in Egypt, in the northeast corner, I'm going to go counterclockwise. I don't know why, just go counterclockwise. Egypt has an Islamic State in the Sinai affiliate. It's been around for the better part of 5 or 6 years and is extremely lethal. But before that, Egypt had Al-Jihad, it had Al-Gama Islamiyya, et cetera, but ISIS in the Sinai is now the big thing in Egypt. You go further south, Nick mentioned Somalia? Yeah, Al-Shabaab is carrying out attacks on a daily basis in Somalia. And by the way, there's an Islamic State affiliate in the Puntland. So Somalia is a problem. Now, Kenya is a problem because of Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab carries out attacks in neighboring Kenya, especially in Mandera County, which is the county that straddles the Somali-Kenyan border. You go a little further south and you get, I think it was Emil said, the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Yeah, there is an Islamic State called Islamic State Central African Province, and there's a group called the Allied Democratic Forces, which are not democratic, which is a jihadi group that's been around for the better part of 20 years, carrying out beheadings in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And a little further south on the East Coast, we have to talk about a group called, they call themselves Al-Shabaab, not to say Al-Shabaab in Somalia, they're actually an Islamic State affiliate. And in recent weeks and months, they have been responsible for the displacement of upwards of 1 million people from northeastern Mozambique. And they too behead people. They capture them and they behead them. Mozambique is a huge issue. I actually had a really interesting podcast. If you want to go on the website, borealisthreatness.com, and Google, her name is Jasmine Opperman. She is an analyst in South Africa, and she talked to me about Mozambique. It was about a year ago, I think, if memory serves me correct. Fascinating look at what's happening in Mozambique. But most people can't spell Mozambique or find it on a map. You go across the continent, of course, you see what's happening in Nigeria with Boko Haram, and to do Islamic State Western African Province, another Islamic State affiliate, Mali, Niger, Chad, parts of Eastern Mauritania, ISIS affiliates. You look at the so-called North Africa. Morocco just arrested a bunch of people at an ISIS cell in Morocco. Algeria's got terrorism in the eastern part of the country. Tunisia's been hit by Islamist extremist attacks over the past 10 years. Libya is a hellhole since Gaddafi was found in a drainage pipe back in, was it 2011? Has it been 10 years already? Less so these days in Egypt, which is really interesting, or else they're not reporting it. The Egyptians keep a pretty close hold on their press. So it makes me wonder sometimes if some of the terrorist attacks are not being reported. I can't prove that. It's just a speculation. I remember when I was in high school, which, yes, was a gazillion years ago. Thanks to you for not reminding me of that. And, Africa was the great hope. These countries were becoming independent. They were shaking off the shackles, say that fast 5 times, of the European overseers. And they had a ton of resources, raw materials. They were rich beyond belief. And I think that there was this great optimism that Africa would modernize and become part of the modern world. And I'm sorry, they're not. Anyhow, the point is that the African continent is now proving to become, in some ways, a more dangerous place to be from an Islamist terrorism perspective than the Middle East. Now, who would have said that a year ago or 2 years ago? You would not have associated Africa with this level of activity. And yet that's what the information is showing us. So if you go to the bookmarks page that I just offered you guys and look at the African news sites that I read on a daily basis, you'll see what I'm talking about. Africa is becoming the hub of today's Islamist terrorism. Go figure. For those who are just joining us, I'm Phil Gurski, president of Borealis, former Canadian Security Intelligence Officer. If it's your first time, welcome. I'd love to see you guys subscribe and like it on YouTube. It'd be great. Take care, and thanks again for showing up.